Okay, good morning. We're up to Kuf Chaf Beis Amid Beis. Two lines from the bottom. Tan Rabbanan. Tan Rabbanan. So going back to the halachas of Nachlos, it says Tan Rabbanan. Lases loy pishnayim. The pasuk says to give to him pishnayim. Pishnayim ke'echad. You give two parts to one, meaning, let's say there's two brothers, so one brother gets a third and the other one gets 2/3. If there's three brothers, you're going to divide again now into four parts, right? And he'll get two. We got to take this call. Hello.
Good morning. This is Jay from Dr. Grunside. I'm calling for Stuart Elliott.
Yes.
I'm calling to let you know you can come in, but can you make it in from between 1 to 1:15-ish?
1 to 1:15?
Yeah, the latest is probably like 1:30.
Okay, I'll be there 1:15.
Kickoff.
Okay, so there's two ways to view Yerusha, guys, of Pishnayim. Does he get two times what one brother gets, or does he get two times of the whole property, the whole thing, right? So if it's one brother, then he'd get 2/3. If it's five brothers, then he'll get 2/6. In other words, well, 1/3. On the other hand, if you view the whole estate, he'll get more. He'll always get 2/3 of the whole estate. We're going to prove it goes after the brother, okay? We're going to prove it goes after the first tzad. So again, pishnayim of a brother. Whatever chelik a brother gets, he gets 2/3 of it. He doesn't get 2/3 of the whole. And the Gemara will prove that, okay? Atoime pishnayim ke'echad. Yenel pishnayim b'chol chosim. B'dinhu. Says the Gemara. Amid Aleph. Chelku im echad v'chelku im chamisha. Ma chelku im echad pishnayim ke'echad, av chelku im chamisha pishnayim ke'echad. Like to go to the first derech, even he'll always get compared to the brother. Like klach derech such. Chelku im echad v'chelku im hey. Ma chelku im echad pishnayim b'chol chasim. Just like if he only has one brother, he's going to get 2/3 of everything. Av chelku im hey. So too, if he has more than one brother, he 5 brothers, pishnayim b'chol chasim, you're going to go get all of 2/3 of everything. We're going to prove like the first sad fellas. Again, you get 2/3 of what one brother gets. So we're going to bring in, guys, 4 psukim. The Gemara is going to say the din from the first pasuk, and we're going to arrive at the same din from all 4 psukim, and then the Gemara is going to make what's the reason that I needed that pasuk, right? Usually if you hear something from one pasuk, what's the reason I needed the other psukim? So says the Gemara, I'll tell you where you know it from. Talmud Laimar, v'hoya b'yoyim him chilu es banav es ashayi eloi la yuchel levaker es ben ahuva al pnei ben asnu habachar. The pasuk says it'll be the day that he's bequeathing his son. You're not able to discern between what the son that's ahuva, the son that's tnua. Now this is extra, right? Because it says ki abachar ben asnu yaker lasu la pishnayim. So what do you have to tell me this pasuk? Ella, since we have the pasuk here, Sabachor ben Asnu Yakeloi, this pasuk of what of Esasher Lo Yuchal Levakas ben Ahuva Al Pi ben Asnu Habachor, it's extra to teach me a Torah Rivsa Nachle Eitzel Achen. The Torah goes ahead and is marble. The Torah connected the brothers. That what is to show the Bechor should not take Pishnayim in all the Nechasim, only what the brothers. Ha'ein Alecha Lodan Kalashin Achroin. We shouldn't judge like the last lashon, which means Pishnayim keneged all the property. El Koloshin Rishon, like the first lashon, keneged the brothers. So again, whatever a part a brother gets, you will get double that. So if there's 10 brothers, you're going to divide the state up to 11 pieces, and he's going to get 2 of those pieces. If there's 20 brothers, you're going to divide it up to 21 pieces, and he's going to get 2 of those pieces. But he's not going to get 2/3 of the whole kit and caboodle. Okay, that's the first pasuk. Now, the Gemara guys is going to bring a brisa that you're going to bring 3 other psukim, and then the Gemara at the end of the brisa is going to explain why we need the other psukim. The Omer, another pasuk, Ubnei Ruvain b'chor Yisrael, ki hua b'chor, right? he's the Reuven's the Bechor, ubechallo yitzui aviv, and when he was mechalel his father's tent, he went ahead and he moved after the death of his mother of Rachel. He moved the bed that was by Rachel's Pelegesh Billah to the tent of Rachel, his mother. It says Vayishkav Reuven is Billah Pelegesh Aviv. The Gemara in the Vav in Shabbos tells us Kol Reuven Chayta Eine Elataya. But nonetheless, being involved in the marital life, the Torah equated with Vayishkav an act of znus, and therefore he lost the Bechira. In the Bechirasa Libnei Yosef ben Yisrael, it was given to Yosef, the son of Yisrael. Below this Yachshev the Bechira. The Omer Ki Yehuda. Now that's the second pasuk. Reuven, a third pasuk. Ki Yehuda Govar be'echav. He was the greatest of his brothers. Ulenogid, and the leader Mimenu. Ba'Bechira Yosef, and the Bechira went to Yosef. So a third pasuk. Nema Bechira Yosef, Nema Bechira L'Doros. It says Bechira Yosef. It says Bechira L'Doros. Ma Bechira Yosef Pishnayim Ke'echad. Just like the Bechira Yosef is double. We'll see how we know that in a second. Af Bechira Yosef is Pishnayim Ke'echad. It's right. It's two times one brother and not all the other brothers. And a fourth pasuk V'Omer Vanina Sati L'cha Shchem Echad. I gave an extra portion Alachecha over your brothers. This is Yaakov talking to Yosef. That I took from the hands of the Amori, Becharbi with my sword, Ubekashti and with my bow. Did Yaakov go ahead and defeat the Amori in battle? Yaakov was Ishtamai. He wasn't a warrior. He wasn't a man of the keshes. He wasn't a man of the sword. Elacharbi means utfila. The cherev is tefillah. Yaakov Davin, and keshes is bakosha that he is. So therefore, what? So we have a pasuk by Bechor, we have a pasuk by Yosef, pasuk by Yehuda, and we have a pasuk by Pishnayim by Nesati. My voimer, going back to after you put the pasuk of B'yom and Chilu as Banov, that taught me that what you're getting the portion of the brother. Why was it necessary to bring in the pasuk of Ruvain? My voimer, why are you bringing out the pasuk of Ruvain? What's necessary to bring in that pasuk? When it says the pasuk of Vayom ben Chilu es Banav, maybe it's for the din of Rabbi Yochanan ben Breika that we said yesterday, fellas. What was the din of Yochanan ben Breika? That a person, if it's a bar Yoirish, you can go ahead and give it to him. In other words, Rabbi Yochanan ben Breika held that if you have 5 sons, you can go ahead, as long as they're royal lakach, you can go ahead and give them the Yerusha to one of them. If it's a stranger, you can't. So I would think the pasuk says Vayom Chilu es Banav was speaking that scenario. Yeah, but it tells me that it says the Gemara Tashma the pasuk of Bnei Ruvain Bechor Yisrael that you give the Bechora. Okay, we can learn a binyanav when it says Bechora from Bechora Soy that Chel Bechora is Pishnayim Ke'echad. You're going to say you don't learn the word Bechora from Bechora Soy because they're not similar. Tashma Bechora Yosef, you see the similar. And you learn from Bechor Yosef. That's why you needed that pasuk. Yosef kufa mimayde pishnayim ke'echad have. How did Yosef got pishnayim meant 2 times a brother and not 2 times all of Yaakov's nechasim? Tashma ani sati lecha shchem echad alachecha. I gave you 1 portion more than your brothers. So you see that what? It's double. So I'm a double brother. I'm a later papa labaya ema dikla ba'alma. Maybe he's not giving him a karka. Maybe he's giving him a double tree. I'm a lay alecha makra. Ephraim Menashe, Kruvim, Shimon, Yeli. Ephraim Menashe, like Reuven, Shimon, being like brothers. So, bottom line is, we brought a tremendous amount of psukim to go ahead and ascertain one thing. A Bechor gets a double portion of a normal brother. He does not get a double portion of the whole estate. Good. Okay, a little. I got it to time. Boy mine Reb Chelboy Rabbi Shmuel ben Nachmani. Maro Yaakov shenatal b'chayr mi Ruvain v'nasan li Yosef. What did he see that he took the b'chayr from Ruvain and gave it to Yosef? Read the Gemara. Maro. What did he see? L'chalol yitzuyov. Because it says he moved his father's couch. L'chayr, so he did something wrong by getting involved in Yaakov's marital affairs. Elamaro shenatal li Yosef. Why Dafka did he give it to Yosef? In other words, he took it away from Ruvain, but why did he give it to Yosef? So Emshel Chamashal, I'll give you a mashal. The Mahadav Doimer, the Balabayas Shagodl Yosem B'Tech Beisay. The Balabayas, who Yosem goes up in their house. Liyomim Hesher Oisa Yosem. The Yosem gets wealthy. But Omar and the Yasam says, Aniu lebalabayis min chasai. So what happened over here? Yosef was a rich guy. He was Megadol Yaakov in Mitzrayim. Yaakov is the Yasam. This is the Rashbam. Yaakov is the Yasam. He's growing up in Mitzrayim. Now Yaakov, at the end of his life, he's wealthy. So what does he do? He's Mahani Yosef. So it's mashma. The reason why Yosef got it had nothing whatsoever to do with Ruvain. Ruvain lost it, but the reason he got it was because what? Was because he took care of him. Now, if he got it because he took care of him, why do we care about Ruvain? Says the Gemara, Amalei, v'ilav dechot Ruvain, le'mahani le'Yosef le'madam. If Ruvain didn't do anything wrong, Yosef wouldn't have got it. It's not, according to you, your mashal, the reason Yosef got it was because of Yosef himself. He went ahead and he took care of Yaakov. What happened if Ruvain didn't do anything? What happened if Ruvain didn't do anything? Then Yosef wouldn't have gotten anything. El Rabbi Yonasan Rab Chaloi Kachamar, Ruya Hoysa B'chayr Lotzes Me Rachel. The MS the B'chayr should have came from Rachel. The Chsiv Ela told us Yaakov Yosef. Ela Shekad Masa Leah B'Rachamim. Through the act of Rachamim, they had Rachmanis on Leah, and she had children before Rachel. So if everything would have went according to the what was planned, Yaakov would have married Rachel, and Yosef would have been the Bechor. However, because of Rachmanis on Leah, Leah ended up being the mother of Ruvain, and she was zeicha to have the Bechor of Yaakov. When we take tznius shahoisa ba berachel, the tznius that existed by Rachel, hechzira Kadosh Baruch Hu la. Kadosh Baruch Hu returned it to Rachel. Yeah. So originally it was by Rachel. Leah Berachim took it away. Because of the tznius of Rachel, you got it back. Makod Masa Leah Berachimim. How is Leah Berachimim ever to get the Bechor away from Rachel? The Chsiv, the Eini Leah Rakos. The eyes of Leah was soft. My Rakos, Elema Rakos Mamish, they were soft. Efshe Begenus Behema Tameya Le Dibra Kosev. The Torah is makbid not to speak about it Behema Tameya in a negative lashon. The Chsiv, Mina Behema Tahira, Umina Behema Asher Inenu Tahira. We don't use Behema Tameya, we use Behema Inenu Tahira. Begenus Sadikim Dibra Kosev. You're going to speak in a Genus that Leah her eyes were soft, meaning a negative talk. You wouldn't speak that way. So that can't be what it means. Elam Rabbi Loza, you know what it means? Shematnaisaha aruchos. That Leah's matanis were arucha. They were longer than Rachel's. That's what rachos means. The lashon of rachos, the lashon of aruchos. In the word, they were longer. What does that mean? Says the Marsha, Yosef was a melech, guys, right? Yosef was a melech, but where? Only in Mitzrayim. Only in Mitzrayim. Shiloi, the Mishkan Shiloi, fellas, was also in the Chelik of Ephraim. Only 369 years. It was temporary. Shol was from Binyamin, from Rachel, 2.5 years. But the matanes of Leah were permanent. The Beis Hamikdash was in the Chelik of Yehuda, part in Binyamin and Yehuda, and Malchus of David is L'Dari Dairos. So it says the Marsha beautifully. That's what it means. That Manaseh Ruchos. They had the same matanes, but as Yosef, the descendants of Rachel were temporary, whereas the ones of Leah were rachos. They were aruchos. They were longer. Rav Amar lo'ilam rachos mamish. Taka means rachos means that her eyes were rachos. For leiganayhula, and the fact that her eyes were rachos, mashma, she was used to crying a lot, and therefore her eyes were rachos. It's not a ganai, and Ella, it's a shvachula. It's a shvach to Leah. Shoisha shemas al parshas derachim. She heard through the grapevine. Beni Adam Shahayu Amrim, Shnei Banim Yesh Lo Rivka. Rivka has two brothers, sons. Shnei Banim Sheyesh Lo Lavan. Lavan has 2 daughters. Gedoyla. Leah is going to get the older one. Ukatana. And then Rachel is going to get the younger one. So Yesheves al Parshas Derachim, and she was asking around. Mishalelas Gadol Mamasa. What's the actions of this Gadol that is my bashert? Ishrahu. He's not a good guy. Malastim Briyos. He's a robber. Cotton Mamaisa. What about the younger one? Ishtam Yeshiva. He sits and learns Torah the whole day. And Leah was crying about her lot. Till her eyelids came out. And that's why her eyes were rachos. And Hashem saw that Leah was hated. Masnua, Ilema Snua Mamish, that she was hated. Again, the same Gemara. Efsha b'gnus behemet me'eloi diber kosev, b'gnus tzadikim diber kosev. El Ruach Kodesh Baruch Hu shesnuim ma'isa Esav b'faneha. It's not that she was snua, but a snua, but she viewed Esav's actions as she was disgusted by Esav's actions. She hated Esav's actions, and therefore vayiftes rachma. Hashem went ahead and opened her up. So it comes like this. Really, the Bechorah should have been by Rachel, but because of this act of Leah, because it bothered her so much that she ended up with Esav, or she was going to go end up with Esav, Berachamim, it was given back to her, and then the tznius of Rachel brought it back. The tznius of Rachel brought it back. Umat tznius chaysim of Rachel. What was the tznius of Rachel? The chsiv, Vayaga Yaakov leRachel ki achi aviyahu. Yaakov told Rachel that he's her father's brother. He said that he's the brother of Lavan. Chi ben Revkahu, was he the son of Rivka? Le ben achos aviyahu. In other words, he was the son of what? Of the sister of. He was the son of the sister of Lavan. He wasn't Lavan's brother. He was Lavan's nephew. Amalei, he told Rachel, Minasevesli, marry me. Amalei in, I agree to it. Miu, Abaram Mohu, my father's a liar. Leochosle, you won't allow it. Amalah, my Ramuse, what's his Ramois? Amalei, Islay Achta Kashishimina. I have a sister that's older than me. Lemanasuli Mikama, and she won't let me get married before her. Amalah, Achvani Ramois. Said Yaakov, I'm his brother in Ramois. So when he says that he's the brother of Lavan, that's what he meant in his actions. Is it permitted for a tzaddik to act in a derogatory way? That's not honest, especially Yaakov. Tite nemes liYaakov. In imnava titavar, with the pure you're pure. The mikesh tafel, and with the crooked you're tafel. In other words, with a straight guy you deal straight, but with a ramoy you deal ramoy. So it's a heta. What was his ramoyis? Masla simonim. He gave to Rachel the simonim that only she would know, be able to give to him that it was Rachel, and only she would know it. Ki kamaylu la Leah, as Leah was being led to the chuppah, Sava, she said, Hashta michsefa achatoy. My sister's going to be embarrassed. Masraninu nehalah. So he gave her the simonim. Behold, in the morning was Leah. Mechlal al hashta lav Leah. Mechlal al hashta, it was not Leah. Alamitoich simonim shemasal Yaakov l'Rachel u'masasan l'Leah ve'haviyadala ara hishaita. It wasn't known until the morning. Now it's not clear from over here what the tznius was. It's not clear over here. It's not clear over here in the morning what the tznius was, right? So the Gemara in Masechta Megillah, Gemara Masechta Megillah, I share with you, is a little different, a little more. You can all see that. You can see the Gemara. Yeah. Should I make it bigger? Now you should be able to see the Gemara. Yeah. Okay. B'schat tznius shahoysa barachel, and the schar tznius of Rachel, zachsa v'yatzim imenu shol. She was zeichet to have shol. B'schat tznius shahoya ba b'shol, and the schar tznius of shol, zacha v'yatzim imenu Esther. Umat tznius hoysa ba barachel, dichsiv v'yaged Yaakov l'Rachel ki achi aviyahu, v'chi achi aviyahu v'aloi ben achos aviyahu. Ela amala min svali, amala in miu abba ramalhu v'lo yachos lei. Amalah achva number amoyes. Amalah yemi shari letzeduki letzegoy b'rim musa. Amalah in nava tetaba in ikesh tetafel. Amalah umayram musa. Amalah iloi isli yiszadik shishaminoi v'loi minsvali. You come like, well, let me get married before. So masla simonim kimata laila amra hashta michsav achtoi masrasinu neloi b'haina dechsiv ayi b'vakiri nelaya. The same Gemaras that we have, word for word. Okay, now it's what's the thing is a shol, that the shol did not go ahead and tell the fact that he met Shmuel and was anointed king. He said he found the donkeys. And what's the tznius of Esther? So the tznius based upon this Gemara is keeping your mouth shut. That was not stated by us. The tznius is keeping your mouth shut. Now, if you look at the Rashi over here, Masrasan Leah, she gave it over to Leah. V'hu tznius, and that was the tznius. Shlei hisparsim hadava shemasala simonim. She wasn't mefarsim the dava shemasala simonim, that she gave the simonim. She wasn't mefarsim that she did this selfless act. Now, I'd like to go ahead and let's take this from the beginning through the end. It's not only that she gave simonim and gave her sister. There was no way in the world that she thought that Yaakov Avinu would marry two sisters. Yaakov Avinu kept Kol Torah Kula, and it's also to marry two sisters. So when Rachel gave over the simonim, it wasn't only she was giving over embarrassment, guys. She was willing to give away her husband. She was willing to give away her husband, Abashert. It's the most altruistic act that any person can possibly do. Caring for somebody else to such a large extent, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, she didn't know that Yaakov Avinu, again, according to the Ramban, only kept Kol Torah Kula in Eretz Yisrael. He did not keep it in Chutz La'aretz, and therefore he married her. Fast forward, they're coming to Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael, he can't be married to two sisters. One of them has to die. Who would it be? Would it be Rachel? Would it be Leah? Rachel took the trophim from Lavan and hid them. She sat on them when Lavan came looking. Yaakov Avinu said, whoever took them should die. So the act of that decreed that the one who would make into Eretz Yisrael is Rachel Imenu. Okay. Yirmiyahu, Perek Lamed Aleph, Pasuk Yudaled, buried in Beis Lechem, but not even in Beis Lechem proper. And Yaakov apologizes to Yosef for not doing it in Parshas Vayechi. And he says, "Zomei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Koyamar Hashem, Kol Beroma Nishma, Nehi B'chi Tamrumim, the kina, the crying, the merimus. Rachel mevaka al boneha. Rachel is crying for her children who are going into Golus. Me onali nachem al boneha. She's not makabel tachnunim on her children. Kienenu, because they're not living in Eretz Yisrael anymore. Kayamar Hashem, mini kailech mi bechi. Hold back your meriris, your kol. Ve'inayich midima, and your eyes from crying. Ki yesh schar lepulasech, because what? You've accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. This whole sequence of events was to ensure that Klal Yisrael would survive. No one, Moshe Rabbeinu, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, the greatest people in the history of the world, were not being able to be foiled to save Klal Yisrael as they went into Golus Bavel. The only one who could do it was Rachel. And the only reason Rachel could do it was because the greatness that she did over here, that she showed over here, guys, that she just the altruistic of Rachel, her altruism. I don't know if this is true. I share with my share. I underline this over here. Masrasan, Leleya, Futsnias, Shleisparsim Adav Shemasala Simonim. She didn't tell anyone. Fellas, she didn't even tell the Rabbi Shlalem. She didn't even tell the Rabbi Shlalem. She didn't say, Rabbi Shlalem, I gave my Simonim. Right? She didn't say that. Now, I'm not sure that's true. It could be somewhere in my back of my mind. It says that I gave away my sister. I'm not sure. Could be somewhere I'm wrong. But the fact to keep your mouth shut and not tell people what you are and what you do is considered an act of tznius, to be matzniah, to hide yourself. You hide your actions. This selfless action of Rachel, of giving away her sister on her wedding night, saved Klal Yisrael. The machinations of all this can only be Meis HaKadosh Baruch Hu, fellas. The sequence of events, it's eladik. If you put it in the perspective as I just did, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And that's why Rachel Imenu. That's why Mama Rachel. And that's why anyone goes, they'll tell you, the place that people daven the most and cry the most is Kever Rachel. You go to Kever Rachel, you don't see it. People go there because that's the final address. You would think it's the Kaisel Maravi, but when it comes to Tefillah, Rachel Mevake Al Boneha, that's the place. That's the place of Tefillah. That's the place where people answer. It's amazing. And Baruch Hashem. Okay, a little more agarita. Boimine Abba Khalifa Kruye Merabchia Bar Abba. Bechlolon Atamoitze Shivim. If you go ahead and you count down the amount of people who went out to Mitzrayim, there was 70. Ubipratam, but when you specify the amount, Atamoitze Shivim Chasarecha, you find 69. Amalei, so Reb Chia Bar Abba told him, Tuma Hoysem Dina. It was a twin with Dina. Dechsiv Ves Dina Bitoi. El Miata Tuma Hoysem Binyamin. Look at the top Taisus, guys. Tuma Hoysem Binyamin. Uba Alma Minon, Tuyumim Hoysem Kalashvatim. The Emisol Shvatim had what? They said that's who they married. They had Amid Beis, because says Es Binyamin Achiv Ben Imai. So L'chaira, what's the reason that it can't be that there was a tumor burn, is the 70 and the Estina, because if that's the case, there was many more than 70. So that's not the cheshbon. Amar. So Reb Chia Bar Abba said, Margulius Toiva Hoysa Biyadi. I had this precious gem. So initially he just told him something that he wanted to pique his interest. He wanted him to ask the question. And now he's getting around to the truth. Margulius Toiva Hoysa Biyadi, Batamavakesh La'avdam Mimeni, Hachi Amar Rav Chama Bar Chanina. This is Yocheved who was conceived on the way, right? 69, and when she came into Eretz Yisrael, right, it was 70. Why? Because she was born Ben Achaimis. Shenemar, she came to Mitzrayim, excuse me. Shenemar she'yolda oisol levi b'Mitzrayim. Leidasa b'Mitzrayim. Her later was Mitzrayim. Vein hayrasa b'Mitzrayim. Hayra was not b'Mitzrayim. Excuse me. And it was when Rachel when he saw that that was Yosef, that Rachel gave birth to Yosef. Then he was going to return to To Eretz Yisrael. He was going to turn to Eretz Yisrael. Yosef. Why Dafka upon the birth of Yosef was Yaakov now able to return to Eretz Yisrael? Amalei. Yaakov Avinu Shein Zar Shalesav Nimsar El Biyad Zar Shal Yosef. That the only one who's going to be able to go ahead and defeat Esav is Yosef, the children of Yosef. So now that Yosef is born, he's able to go back. Until then, he could not go back. But now that we have the antidote to Esav to go ahead, and he's able to go back. Shneimar, of course, the pasuk says, "V'hoya Beis Yaakov Eish, uBeis Yosef Lahava." Beis Yaakov is fire. Beis Yosef is lahava, is a flame. Beis Esav lakash. Beis Esav is straw. So Yosef, is able to go ahead and literally burn and destroy Esav. Esav, you want to tell me that it's what? It's Bnei Rachel who destroy Esav. I'll show you it's David, and David was from Yehuda. It says Vayakim David me'aneshef ada erev lemachrasam. This is speaking about Amalek. Amalek, the descendant of Esav. Eliphaz was the son of Esav, who was the father of Amalek. Descendant of Amalek is being destroyed by Yehuda, not by what? By the children of Ephraim, of Yosef. Amalei, so Shmuel Achmeni said, the Akroyach Nevi'eh, those who read Nevi'im, le Akroyach Ksuvim, are not reading Ksuvim. The Chsiv, it says in Divrei Yomim, Belechtoi El Tziglag, who went with David to Tziglag? That's the city that had taken their captives, the Amalekim. Who went to Tziglag with David? Naflo Elov Menashe. From Menashe, the following people is Adna, V'Yosavod, V'Di'ael, U'Michael, V'Yosavod, V'Elihu, V'Tzilta, Rosh Elaf, Mashel Menashe. So you see that who accompanied Yehuda, who accompanied David from Yehuda, is Bnei Menashe, who caused descendants of Rachel. Masar Rabbi Yosef, U'Mehem min Bnei Shimon, Hochu l'Harseir, Anoshim, Chamesh Meos, U'Pelacha, U'Na'arya, U'Refoya, U'Uziel, Bnei Yishi Beroisham, V'Yakues She'eris HaPleit L'Amalek, V'Yesh Risham Adiyom Hazeh. So you see that the Shevet of Naphtali, of Amalek fell into the Shevet of Shimon, and not Bnei Rachel. Says Amar Rabba Bar Shila Yishi. When that person says Bnei Yishi, is Bnei Menashe. So he comes from Menashe. Tichsiv Bnei Menashe Chefer V'Yishi. It's Chefer V'Yishi. So therefore, you see that if you're going to defeat Amalek, doesn't have the whole army, but you have to have Bnei Rachel among you to go ahead and at least partially defeat. Okay, back to our, as we say, regular scheduled program. Good. Now we know that the Bechor takes Pishnayim, Bechol Shayi Matzei Loi, only in Muchsik and not in Roy. Only what he's holding on and not to Roy. That's only if you have to create the Roy. What happens if the Roy comes Memela? What happens if it comes by itself, even though it's not there now? Then you would get. That's the side of the sugya. So there's a few cases over here. Tan Rabbanan, says the Rabbanan. Habachor noitel pishnayim, Bechor takes pishnayim, bizroya ubelchayim have bekeva. We know one of the matnas kahuna is the right front foot, the cheeks, and the stomach, the rennet that's in the stomach. That comes from an animal, not only a carbon, but even an animal of chulin, that goes matnas kahuna. So he would get pishnayim in that. The whole brayso will be explained in a minute. Uhu mukdashim and in karbanos. And if there's a father died and the property got better, right? Then they get what? They get pishnayim. Ketzad. This is the last din. He left the para muchreches that it was rented out. Biyad acherim. It was grazing. I think afar or afer. How do you? It was the apar. It was grazing in the apar, which is the swamp. V'yolda b'char noitel pishnayim. V'yolda, it gives birth. B'char noitel pishnayim. The b'char takes pishnayim. It's not that it gave birth kama and the b'char takes pishnayim. I wasn't. It was Roy. The answer was pregnant already. It was pregnant already. If it's pregnant already, that's considered shvach that comes memela. If it's shvach that comes memela, therefore you would get it. Aval bonu bottom, if they leaves their estate and they build houses, v'noit kromim or plant vineyards, ein b'chor noitel pishnayim. Why? Because even if you left the materials to do it, but it doesn't happen memela. It doesn't happen automatically. You have to go ahead and plant them. You have to go ahead and build. Okay. Hi is now going back over the brisa. Hi has a royal lachayim v'hakeva. Hechidami. What exactly is the case of the zeroya lachayim v'hakeva? Ida asalia one. If the father had it in his possession before he died, pshita. That's muchsik. The father collected it. Father was a kayin. He collected the zeroya lachayim v'hakeva. He passes on. Of course, the b'chor gets pishnayim. It's muchsik in that. And if it did not come to his hands yet, roihu, it's considered what? It's considered roy. It's considered roy. The eina b'chor noitel b'roy ki b'muchsik. So hacha, we're speaking about b'makiri kahuna. Makiri kahuna is a person that you used to give your manas kahuna to. I assume that some people could spread the wealth, or some people had a koyin that they would be makir and give all the time. So, you know what we're speaking about over here? A guy who died had in his possession, he didn't get it yet, but he would get the Zeroy L'chaim Chayev because this person always gives his manas kahuna to this kohen. Ude ishtachit b'chayid avuin, and the animal was geshochten in the lifetime of the father. So again, we want to make this as muchsik as possible, guys, right? Again, he has nothing. Anything that potentially comes is considered roy. So one step, the person who owns the animal that he's about to slaughter, right, gives his manas kahuna to this kohen. Step one. Step two, the animal is geshochten already, but it's still not given to the kohen who's going to die. Step three, ukesava matanis shloi hurma, matanis that are not separated yet, kimishu hurma dami. We'll view them as separated. So guys, here's the chiddush of the brisa. If a kohen dies, and he has a person who gives him his matanis, and the animal is slaughtered already, we'll view the matanis as if they're separated, and we'll view it as if it's in the reshus of the deceased kohen, and the b'chor will get pishnayim despite the fact it's not in his reshus yet. That makes it muchsik. 3 steps: makiri kahuna, geshachten, and matana shlei hurmu. That'll make it more muchsik that the b'chor gets pishnayim. That's the chiddush of the brisa. Next in the brisa, he gets pishnayim in mukdashim. Says the Gemara, mukdashim lav dideininu. Kachim doesn't belong to him. Kachim doesn't belong to him. Kachim belongs to the Rebbeinu Shloim. And the answer that we always give, Kachim kalim v'aliba Rabbi Sekulili. Again, if a person is given to watch, fellas, a person is given to watch an animal, a carbon, and it's a carbon chatas. And now he says, where's my chatas? And he denies it. He's not going to swear a shvua that's going to lead to Asham Kaselis. If, however, why? Because it's not his money. If, however, it's a shlomim, a bachar, a pesach, anything that's kachim kalim, it's considered mammon bailim le'inyan b'mechayiv mi a shvua of a shvua that I don't have it. Good. So therefore, since it's chayim yeshua, it's considered money. The Tanya, umal umal b'Hashem, the rabbis kachim kalim shein mammon bailim. The Rabbi Yosef Glili. Good. So that's mukdashim. I get pishnayim. How about this? It's a different, at least out in somebody else's pshus. Or was grazing in the swamp. V'yolda, and it gives birth. B'char noitel pishnayim. B'char gets pishnayim. Says the more 1 second. It's not physically in the Mara's Rishus. It's not, he owns it, but it's not physically his. It's not his Rishus. Nonetheless, Amrit Shakal, he gets Pishnayim, Royal Ba'apar, mi boy, Royal Ba'apar, where it's not in anyone else's Rishus. It's like in his Rishus. You need to tell me, what's the Chiddush of Royal Ba'apar that he gets Pishnayim? Madach, where it's in somebody else's Rishus, he gets Pishnayim. Certainly when it's no one's Rishus, he gets Pishnayim. Says Kamash Malon, Mechreres and Muscheres Dum Yuderoya Ba'apar. It has to be similar to that. Maroya Ba'apar Shvacha de Memela Kasi. It's shvach that comes by itself. It's no sweat off your back. The animal is eating and grazing in land that you don't have to feed it. Like a chosr mezayna, and you don't have to pay for it. Af Mechreres Muscheres. You know when you get Amid Aleph. Af Mechreres Muscheres Shvacha de Memela Kasi. Shvacha de Mela, like chasra mezayna. You're not chasra what? You're not chasra anything. In other words, if you would have to feed the animal, you would not get bishnayim. If you would have to, let's say the animal is rented out, but you made a deal with the guy that you're going to feed the animal. In that case, you're not going to get bishnayim because that's not similar to what with grazing ba'apar.